Everyone thinks they know why Rome fell. Some say it was because of barbarian invasions. Others blame corrupt emperors like Nero and Caligula. But what if I told you? The real reasons are much deeper, much darker, and eerily similar to what's happening in the world today. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see history in a completely different way. And you might even start questioning the future of modern superpowers. The Roman Empire was unstoppable. Powerful armies, advanced technology, and a culture that shaped our modern world. But nothing lasts forever. Rome's collapse wasn't a single event. It was a slow-motion disaster. Corruption, economic failure, political chaos, and external threats chipped away at its foundation until, one day, it was simply gone. But here's the thing, history repeats itself. Understanding how Rome fell isn't just about the past, it's a warning for the future. And by the end of this video, you'll have a shocking realization about our world today. So, why did Rome really fall? Let's dive in. Rome's story begins in 753 BC, at least according to legend. A pair of twin brothers, Romulus and Remus, raised by a she-wolf, fought for control of a small settlement by the Tiber River. Romulus won, and Rome was born. At first, Rome was just another city-state, but through sheer military power and political cunning, it conquered its neighbors and expanded across Italy. By 146 BC, it had crushed its greatest rival, Carthage, and claimed dominance over the Mediterranean. This is when Rome transitioned from a republic to an empire. The Senate still existed, but real power belonged to the generals, especially one in particular, Julius Caesar, a war hero, a man of the people, and a threat to the ruling class. When he crossed the Rubicon River in 49 BC with his army, he effectively ended the republic. Within 5 years, he was named dictator for life, but that life was cut short when a group of senators assassinated him in 44 BC. They thought they were saving Rome. Instead, they set the stage for its greatest emperor, Augustus. Under Augustus, Rome reached its golden age. This era, known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace, lasted for 200 years. Rome, at its peak, was breathtaking. Marble temples, towering aqueducts, and bustling forums filled with merchants, philosophers, and senators. The empire stretched from Britain to the Middle East, ruling over 70 million people. Roads connected cities, allowing goods, ideas, and cultures to flow like never before. Rome was an economic and military powerhouse. Its legions were feared across the world. Its laws brought stability. Its engineering was centuries ahead of its time. But behind the grand marble buildings, a storm was brewing. Emperors were no longer chosen for their leadership skills. Many were installed by bribing the army. Some were paranoid tyrants, like Nero, who allegedly let Rome burn while playing the lyre, or Caligula, who spent Rome's wealth on personal luxuries and even tried to make his horse a senator. As the empire grew, so did its problems. Governing vast territories required huge amounts of money, and Rome's economic policies became a ticking time bomb. By the 3rd century AD, Rome was in crisis. The economy was collapsing. Inflation was out of control. To pay their soldiers, emperors kept devaluing the currency, mixing in cheap metals until Roman coins were practically worthless. Meanwhile, Rome's borders were under siege. The once feared Roman legions were now filled with mercenaries, soldiers who fought for money, not loyalty. In 285 AD, Emperor Diocletian made a desperate move. He split the empire into east and west, hoping it would be easier to manage. It worked for a while, but the Western Empire was already rotting from the inside. Taxes soared. Corruption was rampant. The gap between the rich and poor grew wider than ever. The people lost faith in their leaders, and the once great empire was now being held together by brute force and empty promises. Then, in 410 AD, something unthinkable happened. The Visigoths sacked Rome. For the first time in 800 years, the Eternal City was ravaged by foreign invaders. This sent shockwaves across the empire. Rome, once seen as invincible, was now vulnerable. The Western Empire was falling apart. By 476 AD, Rome's fate was sealed. The last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by a Germanic warlord named Odoacer. No more emperors, no more empire. The Western Roman Empire was officially dead. But here's the twist. The Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantine Empire, survived for another 1,000 years. While the West fell into the Dark Ages, the East thrived in Constantinople, preserving much of Rome's culture and knowledge. So, did Rome really fall? Or did it simply evolve? Rome's collapse wasn't sudden. It was a slow-motion disaster. Corruption, economic collapse, political chaos, and foreign invasions all played a role. And here's where it gets chilling. If you compare late-stage Rome to modern superpowers, you'll see eerie similarities. Massive military spending. Rome poured money into its armies. Just as modern nations spend billions on defense. Political division. Rome's Senate became dysfunctional, just like many modern governments struggling with extreme polarization. Economic instability. Rome devalued its currency, and today inflation and debt threaten global economies. Overexpansion. Rome stretched itself too thin, just as some countries maintain military bases and interests around the world. History doesn't repeat itself exactly, but it rhymes. Which raises the question, could a modern empire collapse the same way? Are we watching history unfold all over again? What do you think? Is history repeating itself? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more history that reveals the hidden patterns shaping our world, like the video and hit that subscribe button, because those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.